Hi guys, this is One in a Million. Welcome back to another episode of More to Life Than Mondays. I'm super excited to talk to you guys today about my Ancestry DNA results. So actually 3 years ago, I made a video on my other channel, which you guys don't really know about. It's basically a channel I had in college to put my short films in. But since back in the day I didn't have a YouTube and I really wanted to record my reaction, I did this video 3 years ago there, and I basically reacted to my results from AncestryDNA.com. Now I know that's back then and since then there's been a ton of ancestry videos, and especially lately it's been more about 23andMe. But what's really cool about doing these DNA tests is that you kind of learn not only where you're from, but it kind of gives you little paragraphs with information. And throughout the years and months since doing that test, I've been getting updates on my account of, oh, your results have become more accurate. Check out what your results are now. And actually what my results were 3 years ago have since changed, not so drastically, but kind of drastically enough that I wanted to film this video, especially because I haven't done a video on my Ancestry DNA on this channel. And I'm super excited because I've always been really interested to see where my ancestors are from, but I always up to 3 years ago only knew what my parents told me. And you know, there's always been those cases where your parents tell you one thing, but then the results are actually another thing. So it's really good to have this fairly reliable system tell you, based on thousands upon hundreds of thousands of other people, where your ancestors are actually from, and it's not a speculation. So basically I'm going to kind of compare results. The video I did 3 years ago wasn't refined or anything. It was just purely my reaction. So I was kind of reading the percentages, but I kind of wrote them down in my notes, and then I'm going to use my phone and screen record and put a little screen up here. It's not sponsored. This is just for our entertainment, and if you want to get 23andMe, sure, go get it. But yeah, Ancestry DNA, if you're seeing this, you should sponsor my video. All right, so let's go ahead and check this out. I'm going to read what my Ancestry DNA results were 3 years ago, the very first time I got them. Okay, my results were 72% European, and from that it kind of gives you a subdivision: 31% Italian/Greek, and 31% Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal. Now this one was really expected because my dad's ancestors, I've always been told, came from Spain. My mom's ancestors, I've always been told, came from Italy. So there it is, clear as day. The biggest percentages basically say the closest ancestors to you, and the smallest percentages are your original ancestors, right? So yeah, 72% European. That's a 3/4 white. So then the next big percentage is 12% Native American, which, as I reacted in my video 3 years ago, I was very surprised, but also my mom told me that my great-grandmother was actually very dark-skinned, and we were wondering if she was maybe either African or Filipino, one of those. And then 12% if you divide back, if your parents making you are 50% your dad, 50% your mom, and then their parents are 25, 25, 25, 25, and you the farther away you go, the smaller the percentage goes. So my great-grandmother would be around 12.5%, so that kind of tells me that my great-grandmother was probably Native American, which was pretty cool to learn. And then it says the next big percentage is 10% West Asian, which the subdivisions are 9% Middle Eastern and 1% Caucasus, which I said in my past video, that's probably where Caucasians come from, or at least the word or origin. So this one was pretty surprising. I think back then, this just meant like Middle East, even though it said West Asia, though if you look at the map, it kind of makes sense. The next big percentage is 5% African, and it like gives subdivisions, but the subdivisions kind of sum up to 6%. So what it told me back then was the probabilities of where the 5% came from. So it would tell me 1% Cameroon/Congo, 1% Africa North, 1% Ivory Coast/Ghana, and 1% Benin/Togo, 1% Senegal, and 1% Nigeria. So that adds up to 6%, but it's like, it could be any of these. At the time, I guess the results weren't like super sure, but they're like, we kind of think you're around this area. And then the other percentage it gives me is 4% European Jewish, which then tells me it's like 3% of that is from European East. And then the smallest percentage it tells me is Central Asian, which I remember the like categories of where it could possibly pinpoint to. One of the options was like Russia and the other one was like China. So I thought that was really interesting because my conclusion at the time was that I'm everything, like everything except East Asian and Australian. Therefore, if Anthony and I have a child, then that child only has to marry an Australian, and then we are a worldwide global phenomenon, unstoppable. We are everything. Okay, so back to today's update. So that was my reading from 3 years ago. Now, I've been keeping up with the updates and I have seen this before, but I haven't done like an update video or anything like that, so here we go. It shows the map of the different regions, and then when you go to the ethnicity estimate and you pull it up, you could see it starts with the big percentages at the top and then the smaller percentages towards the bottom. So my percentage, like it seems like the results became more specific to countries rather than regions. Like before it said I was 72% European, and then it did the subdivisions of, oh, Italy, Spain, or Iberian Peninsula. So now it's actually telling me I'm 34% Italian. So it went up, and it says specifically Southern Italy from Salerno. Now, because this is the biggest percentage, I'm going to click on it just to show you guys like what the summary looks like. I want to know more about the specific place in Italy that it's saying that my ancestors are from, Southern Italy, Salerno. So if I see, it shows different years of basically where all of the Italian immigrants, mainly like the biggest population of Italian immigrants coming to America. So if I scroll down, it shows like, oh, like this is your overall community for everyone else that took this test and got like Southern Italy. And then it shows me like some possible cousins. And then I wanted to read this for you guys because it's like a little bit of community history. It's really interesting to like learn a little bit, like that it's not just telling you the percentages, but it's going really in depth. So the community history reads, for centuries, Southern Italian culture centered around family life and seasonal agricultural jobs. Sharecropping was common and poverty rife. With a burgeoning, I think I'm saying that right.
Yes.
With a burgeoning population and little work at home, young Italian men sailed for America, that's my grandfather actually, where they worked as laborers in agriculture, mines, and factories. I was actually told that my great-grandfather and great-grandmother came from Italy to Puerto Rico, which is where I was born. And then my grandfather was born pure Italian, met my grandmother who was born in Puerto Rico, so she was a little mixed. Yeah, so I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, let's continue reading. Many never planned on staying, but soon entire families began to immigrate gathering in little Italies and making their indelible stamp on the America they helped build. Now, I don't think in Puerto Rico there's a little Italy, but to blend in, they actually changed their last name, which was Italian. They just changed one letter to make it Spanish, because in Puerto Rico everyone speaks Spanish and the culture is mainly like Spanish influenced. So to fit in, yeah, they changed one letter of their last name. And I thought that was so interesting. I personally like to think that they were spies undercover trying to flee Italy, but yeah, that's just what I like to think. All right, so if we go back to see the rest of the percentages, we see that I'm 33% from Spain, and that also went up from 31%. I am 6% from Portugal, which actually before it didn't specify that I was from Portugal. It just said 31% Iberian Peninsula. So it could have gone like more percent from Portugal, less percent from Spain. But by combining these two, it would mean I'm 39% Iberian Peninsula. So it increased quite a bit. And then the next percentage is 5% Ireland and Scotland. So my 2% Irish went up quite a bit as well. And then it shows 4% Middle East. Now, let me see, if I recall, that means the Middle East percentage went down because Middle East was considered the 10% West Asian, which was 9% Middle East and 1% Caucasus. So I'm actually not as Middle Eastern as I thought I was. It went down, I'd say 5 to 6%. Then it actually shows that I'm 3% indigenous Puerto Rican, which wasn't showing before and is actually pretty cool, makes sense, though that percentage is pretty small. And then it specifies, it doesn't kind of like separate the African, but it specifies that I'm 3% from Cameroon, Congo, and Southern Bantu peoples. So I guess that means that my 5% African went down, but it specified more that I'm from Cameroon, Congo, and Southern Bantu, which is interesting. Though going down, there's one more African country, I believe. So then it shows I'm 3% from the indigenous Americas, Yucatan Peninsula specifically. Now, if I click on that, I believe that's Mexico, primarily located in Mexico. Let me check out the map. So Yucatan looks like it's like the areas of Mexico, Belize, and Guatemala, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, so that's another new percentage that wasn't in my first reading, which is pretty cool that it's becoming more specific. And then it says I'm 2% from the indigenous Americas, specifically the Andes. If we look at the map, it shows Chile, which is where my dad was born, which is where my great-grandfathers from my dad's side immigrated to. So that makes sense also that there would be a little Chilean in us as well. So like the west coast of South America. Okay, and then it shows 2% Basque. So I remember when I checked, I wasn't sure where that was. So if I look at the map, it shows that it's between Spain and France. So that makes sense because I think at one point it said I was like a percentage French and then it went away. The next one is I'm 1% from indigenous Eastern South America. So when I click on that, it actually just basically shows the rest of South America, including Chile, which makes sense because there was probably different tribes back at the time. Since it's such a small percentage of my ancestry, it probably means those are some of my oldest ancestors. So probably back in the time when there were tribes and things like that. And then it shows that I'm 1% from indigenous Americas, specifically Mexico. And if I click on it, it basically just shows like the rest of Mexico that wasn't the Yucatan Peninsula, and it includes a lot of the United States. The United States used to be part of Mexico. Then it shows 1% from Senegal, so that's actually that other percent that I said was still like African. So it shows in the map, it's in the west side of Africa. It kind of encompasses a little bit of some of the other countries there. And then let's see, it says 1% Greece and from the Balkans. So that's interesting as well because it encompasses like other countries like Albania, Romania, and things like that. The last one is Northern Africa. So actually, I'm still 5% African. It just kind of like niched down to be Northern African Senegalian. Is gonna be 1% from Northern Africa, 1% from Senegal, and then 3% from Cameroon, Congo, and Southern Bantu. So yeah, that is my Ancestry DNA. Then it goes to show like additional communities to show, oh, you're probably from Puerto Rico, and it shows like, oh, probably from Central Eastern Puerto Rican, Southeastern Puerto Rico, because they probably, you know, found when looking me up that like I was born in Puerto Rico. So yeah, that was my Ancestry DNA reading. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, if you ever want to get like one of these Ancestry DNA tests, that's like one of the appeals that you get like text messages or emails, whatever you set up, saying that, oh, your results have been updated. I think this is like the third or fourth time that I've been like notified that there's been a new update. So it's always fascinating to look back and see how your results have changed throughout the years and how it like niches more. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like down below. Also make sure to subscribe. Oh, my foot is asleep. Oh, my foot's asleep. Ow. Huh. Okay, I can do this. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I put out a new video. Also, make sure to comment down below. Let me know what your Ancestry DNA or 23andMe results have said if you've taken it. And if you haven't taken it, do you want to take it? Which of my results were most surprising to you? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Also, make sure to follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so that you stay up to date with all of the latest news about my channel and when my next episodes are going to be coming up. Make sure to share this with your friends that love to see Ancestry DNA and DNA result videos. Thank you so much for watching and for sharing. Have a great day, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.